Hey everybody, how's it going? It is the Cuts22 here, bringing you the first episode of my NC State Wolfpack Dynasty for NCAA Football 14. I just picked up NCAA Football 14 a couple days ago, and I have to say I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying all the changes and everything. And before I get started, I just want to apologize for not uploading a video the past couple of weeks. I've been pretty busy, but as it is summer now, I have a lot more time and a lot more time to do stuff, so over the next 6 or 7 weeks I'll be hoping to upload quite a bit more. And as this gets underway, I'm just going to start this game, and this is just going to be a CPU game because I'm just going to be explaining what happens, and so it's just some gameplay to put in the background. Anyway, this is how my dynasty is going to work. I chose NC State for a couple of reasons. Now, the first thing that I decided before I picked my dynasty team is what kind of team I wanted to pick, and last year in NCAA 13 I played with the Idaho Vandals, and while I enjoyed playing with Idaho because it was a challenge and because it was difficult to recruit, I didn't really like how it was like not a tough conference, and it was very easy to beat all the top tier teams in the conference. And so that's part of the reason why I picked a BCS conference team. But I didn't want to pick an easy team. I didn't want to go with like Florida State or Clemson and beat up every opponent I play. I wanted to go with a lower tier team that would take some building up. And that's part of why I chose NC State. Now, I've always liked NC State. I've liked them in basketball, I've liked them in football, I've liked them in baseball, and so another reason I picked them over teams like Boston College or Wake Forest or maybe Duke is because they have a new coach in Dave Doran who comes over from Northern Illinois. He was very successful with the Huskies, taking them to a BCS bowl game, and also because they lost their starting quarterback in Mike Glenn. And they're also in a talent-rich area in the North Carolina area, established some good pipelines. So that's mostly the reasons why I chose NC State. Now, Pete Thomas is who I'm going to start on the Dynasty, and he's a sophomore. He's a transfer from Colorado State, and I don't know yet if NC State has decided their starter in real life, but I'm not going to wait until they decide. I'm going to start my dynasty right away, and so I'll be going with Thomas over any other viable candidates. Now, speaking of rosters, I'll be going with the Operation Sports 2013 rosters for PS3, and I'll be using those when those come out, so I'll be keeping an eye on those. It should be out in the next couple of days, so the first episode should be up shortly after this. And for sliders, I don't know what sliders I'm going to be using yet. If you have a good set you can recommend, please post them in the comments, and I will check them out. And for difficulty, I'll be recruiting and playing on All-American. I enjoyed playing on All-American last season, and I may go up to Heisman if recruiting becomes too easy, but for now I'll be staying on All-American. And it will be all manual recruiting, and every game will be played. There won't be any simming. So everything you see here will be played by me. And now back onto the reasons why I chose NC State. NC State loses a lot of talent on defense. They lost Earl Wolf. They lost David Amerson. They lost a lot of other talent on defense, and they lost Mike Glennon. But I'm really excited for this team because they do have a lot of talent in some upperclassmen like wide receivers. We've got Brian Underwood and Quinton Patton, and you've got Tony Creasy at halfback, a strong offensive line. And while the defense is a work in progress, I expect this team to score a lot of points and put up some fights. Last year they beat Florida State, who was undefeated at the time, and starting to turn into some national championship game conversation. So NC State has definitely proved to have a flair for the dramatic, and so that's another reason why I'm excited to go with this team. And basically what I'm going to be doing with this dynasty is I'm going to be posting every game that I play. It's just going to be kind of like my MLB The Show recaps, where I go through a game and give some recaps. I'll be going all over the scoring and stuff like that. And every now and then I might bring an update on recruiting, but I'll probably do something with like an off-season update over the off-season on recruiting and such, and coaching and stuff like that, so keep that to look out on. And speaking of recruiting, I'm going to be going with a couple realistic recruiting restrictions. How I'm going to recruit is kind of like this. I'm going to start by choosing players with initial interest in positions of need. So players with initial interest are ones that show up with a green circle next to their name, and so I'll search for those at positions that I need, and those will be the first targets added to my list. Then after that, I'll go for players with initial interest at positions that are not of need, which means they don't have any graduating seniors at that position. And after that, I'll look for players without interest in the school initially in areas like pipeline states. And I believe NC State's pipeline states are North Carolina, Florida, and Texas, potentially South Carolina, but I don't know for sure because of the rosters have not come out yet. But even so, I'll definitely try to establish a pipeline in the South Carolina area, potentially even go north to Virginia and south down to Atlanta and maybe even Tennessee. So that'll be fun. And as for recruiting, I'm going to try to limit the number of 5 stars and 4 stars I recruit. I want to build up some young talent, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye on any gems that I find, and I'll be sure to let you guys know. So if you ever want an update on the recruiting, I'll be sure to bring one out. And in terms of redshirting, which is something that often comes off of recruiting, I'll only redshirt freshmen probably, but don't count me on that. I don't really know for sure, but I'm pretty sure I'll end up only redshirting freshmen, but I'm going to keep it to a realistic number of redshirts and stuff like that. So those are basically the rules I'm going to use on redshirting and recruiting. And so with gameplay, I will be playing every game. There will not be any simming. I won't super sim anything. And yeah, that's basically it. So that's basically all I have for this episode. Just wanted to give a quick introduction to the Dynasty and show some gameplay, so I hope you guys are excited. I'm pretty excited for this Dynasty 2, and I want to get it underway this weekend, hopefully, as soon as the rosters come out. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and leave a like. I really do appreciate every view and every like, and I hope you guys have a good one.